So we're going to bring it back to California. Lots of fun talking about international winemaking. I have so many great stories. I wish I could expand. But here in California, which is where I started, we have a family brand called Palmeri. And Palmeri is a name that's the name of our brand, and it's not named after Daisy or me. I'm Polish, and that's Damskey. Rather strong name, but not what we wanted to name a brand. We decided to name a brand after what we do, and we do mountain wine growing. So Palmeri comes from a species of oak called Quercus palmeri, and it's only grown at high altitude. Hence, Palmeri, and we make not very much wine, 600, 800 cases, and these vineyards are vineyards that I have either worked with or discovered and define the meaning and providence of mountain wine growing, which gives you smaller berries, more intense flavor, black intensity, and wonderful integrity for age-worthiness. So from Palmeri, we make Cabernet from a vineyard called Sweetwater Springs. We actually named it after a lovely road that goes from Rocchioli Winery over to Armstrong Woods. It's up at 1,800 feet. It's from soils that were born in Franciscan soils, born before the San Andreas Fault, that were uplifted and quite low yields, not ridiculously low, but yields 2.5 tons, maybe 3 tons per acre. Lovely, iconic characteristic that taste sort of Napa-like, but they have their own characteristic. And then we make a Pinot Noir from a new appellation called Fountain Grove, another mountain, cool climate mountain appellation, and it's from a gentleman named Chuck McCoy, and I've been making wine for Chuck since 1991. Chuck's a wonderful man and grows this beautiful Pinot Noir at 1,500 feet. That's from quite cool climate, and it's all on chalk soils. We grow Zinfandel from Mendocino County, from the Mendocino Ridge appellation. We grow Syrah from Van Ness Vineyard, which is behind our house, just below Geyser Peak at about 1,000 feet. And we add 1 or 2 different vineyards every other year. So each one of these wines, we make not more than about 250 cases. We sell them all through our family. And I'm happy to say that, I've been the winemaker for almost 20 years, late teens. My lovely bride, Daisy, does a great job selling the wines. And now, member number 3, Drew Damskey, my son, who's 31, and Drew, who oversees the business part of our business, and I'm teaching him how to make the wine, have taught him. And this will become a brand that will become Drew's. And so I'm slowly sort of handing over the reins to Drew. And he and I discuss each year how to make Palmeri more interesting. Examples of that this year, which I learned from Drew because he's around all these famous winemakers and consultants because he sells all this wonderful brand of barrels called Belron and works a lot in Napa Valley. And so it's really a wonderful situation where here as a winemaker for 44 years, Drew and I talk about, Dad, what about if we tried this? And I have to tell you, after making wine for so many years, I've never said no. I will always have the science background going, I'm not sure if that'll work. But usually, what he suggests has legs on it. And we do this year meaning 2019, we did some incredible experiments of doing what the French call saignées. And we took Sweetwater Springs, as an example, Cabernet, and we had one tank as control, which means we ferment it traditionally. And one tank, the next tank, we did a saigné or a bleed of 33% of juice, and we just put it down the drain just to concentrate it. So we made two entirely different wines. They're both great. One is like madness. It's so intense. And the other one is what you think of as Palmeri. So it's fun to be evolving this brand as any brand does, and keeps changing, and we think it just keeps getting better and better. And that's especially important because that's going to be a brand that Drew will own in the future.